So the title of my talk today is, What is Mine to Do? What is mine to do? Now here's what's funny about this. Margaret wasn't supposed to sing that today. She drove in last night, and we were sitting out back talking, and she said, well, what's the title of your talk? I said, oh, the title of my talk is, What is Mine to Do? And she goes, well, why didn't we do What's Mine to Do? I was like, what? And then I went, oh my God. So literally at midnight, she sent Scott the music and said, we're shifting gears. And then we called William, who was still awake, thank God, and he did a new slide for the last song. So that's how we roll around here. Very spontaneous. Everybody's happy and willing to do whatever we need to do. So what is mine to do? So here's the first question I have for you today. How many times in your life have you wondered if what you were doing is yours to do? Anybody? And there's maybe some of you sitting here today saying, is what I'm doing in my life what I'm actually here to do? And not here to do like because something outside of you told you, but because there's something inside of you asking you to do something else, or pointing out other aspirations, other dreams, other focuses. I want to put this in between you guys. So that's where I want to start today. I want to start with your mind just asking yourself, am I living the life I'm here to live? Now, the answer is going to be yes. At this particular moment, wherever you are in your life, you have been driven and moved to this point in time. But the minute the conscious mind asks itself the question, you unleash the universal truth within you. And it only takes the question, is this really mine to do? Is this mine to do? And I will tell you, for the last year and a half, I think it's a year and a half now, going on 2 years, I ask myself constantly, is it mine to run 2 centers? Is it mine to be in Los Angeles one Sunday and Palm Desert the next Sunday? So many people feel that it's not mine to do. They're like, you're working too hard, which I am. You're working too hard, but all that travel. And what they don't understand is I love driving. And I especially love driving to the desert. And I now know what time to do it. So I will disabuse you all from thinking that I'm traveling during rush hour, because I will get up at 5, leave Los Angeles, and drive in the dark until suddenly around San Bernardino, the lights are coming on over the mountains, and I defy you to not want to have that moment every time you drive here. So is it mine to do? Until I hear a calling saying there's something else for you to do, I'm very perfectly content with being in both centers and being able to speak a message to both centers. And one of my friends said, well, that's easy. You only have to do the same talk twice a week. I mean, one talk for 2 weeks. I was like, yeah, it doesn't work that way. Because there are people in Los Angeles, watching today. And when I go back to LA next week, I can't give the same talk. So it's always a different talk. And besides, someone may talk to me at midnight and I change the whole thing. Because that's how we should roll, spontaneously. So, how many times in your life have you actually come up to the point where you say, you know what, I'm not exactly sure why I'm doing this anymore? Even acting, when I was an actor. So I had a very swift trajectory to get to star in a Broadway show. And when I got into that Broadway show and I spent a year starring in a Broadway show, I was miserable, absolutely miserable. I did not like the process. I did not like the director. I did not like, it was the hardest show I'd ever done on my body, because I danced through the whole show. And I really did not have a good time. And I had to sit with that and say, okay, you've spent your whole life knowing you're going to be a Broadway star. And now you are. Is it still what you want to do? And my answer was no. I was like, I can't do this. And I tried to step back, but there was part of me that was still saying, nope, it's still yours. And part of me going, nope, it's not. Until the next show I got, I had such an amazing time with it. It was like the universe said, all right, here's your challenge, here's your reward. And then I did a show and I was like, oh, I get it now. What's mine to do is the work. What's mine not to do is to decide how that work is received. And so all of us have that going on inside of us. What's mine to do, but are you worried that other people won't like it? Or they think there's something else for you to do? So these are all the questions I want us to ask today. And Ernest Holmes said this. He said, true imagination is not fanciful daydreaming. It is fire from heaven. So think about that. True imagination is not fanciful daydreaming. It is fire from heaven. When you ask yourself what is mine to do, your critical thinking mind can spend an awful lot of time figuring it out from practicality basis, from all the facts that are going on in the world. That's not where this answer needs to come from. When I say what's mine to do, I don't care about logic. I don't care what it's saying to me. I listen. Because as Ernest Holmes says here, the fire from heaven that is within you, ready to take you on a new journey, a new destination, is there to literally power itself through you. But if you're busy saying, nope, I'm going to need this amount of salary, I need to be here, I don't want to move from my house, I don't, blah, blah, all the yeah buts. How many of you have yeah buts? Don't we all want smaller butts? So the yeah buts are getting way too big. So what is mine to do? Am I willing to listen to what's inside of me? And this is all about clarity. Clarity is not always a game of figuring it out. Most of the time, it really should be a process of finding the fire from heaven and getting so clear that you are not afraid to make whatever decision comes next. Ernest Holmes also said this. He said, well, that's mine. Clarity is fire from heaven. Clarity, the very thing that we're focusing on this month, is fire from heaven. That's what it is. Inside of you, when you're asking for clarity on some situation, there is a passionate knowing in you ready to bubble up. And Ernest Holmes said this. Prepare your mind to receive the best life has to offer. Are you doing that? Am I doing that? Preparing my mind to receive the best life has to offer. Now, what that means for me is prepare my mind in a way that surrenders to what the best is that life has to offer. And I may not know it. I may not know what's the best to offer. And we're all living in this world of race consciousness in the quantum field. All energy is everywhere present. So the race consciousness is just pushing down upon us at all times. And it's very easy to stop preparing for the best life has to offer and to start preparing for Armageddon, which someone said to me yesterday. They were like, are you not paying attention to politics? We have to prepare for Armageddon. And I was like, are you not paying attention to what I say on Sundays? I literally said that. I said, because I say the exact opposite. You prepare for what life has to give us. What if the Armageddon consciousness that's going on right now is absolutely needed to kick us in the ass and move us forward? Right? So good for that then. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to take my mind off of what is best for me. And Ernest Holmes is so right. Prepare your mind. How do you prepare your mind for the best of what life has to offer? You stop thinking all the things that you don't want to live. If you don't want to live lack, stop focusing on it. If you don't want to live in a world of hate, stop adding to it. Whatever you focus your mind on will expand and will bring forward whatever it is you choose in your life. And that means on your off time, too. Not just, oh, I meditated on this morning. For the rest of the day, I'm in lack. But I did prosperity for 10 minutes this morning. Awesome. And then I went back and went, oh, the universe is listening. And it just gives you whatever mixed message you gave it back to you again. So, Ernest Holmes also, I believe, said this. Expectancy speeds progress. Therefore, live in a continual state of expectancy. Now, in Mental Muscle, which I know a lot of you are in, we did expectancy last week, which led us into belief this week. But expectancy, as he says, speeds progress. What you expect out of life is speeding the progress of what you're going to receive in life. But what you expect is based on what you believe. And what you believe is based on how clear your mind is. Do you have absolute clarity on who you are? Yes, you do. Do you have absolute clarity on how this universe works? You must. We must understand all of this in order to create the beliefs we have, which leads to our expectancy, which speeds the progress of what it is we want to experience. Did you all get that? Anybody not get that? You'll have to watch the rerun because I don't know what I said. Actually, I know exactly what I said. So, as I move into this next part of my talk, I'm going to flip this, okay? I just asked you to ask the question if what you're doing is yours to do. Now I want to ask you this question. What is not yours to do? Because that's a big question. What is not mine to do? Right? It's one thing to say what's mine to do, but let's also figure out what is not mine to do. And I'm getting a longer list of that by the day. Really, as I get older, this is no longer mine to do. There are people that will do that. It's true. It's true. I'm not going to go swab people's noses for COVID. That's yours to do right now, right? I will just get swabbed. But that's not mine to do. It's not mine to do to be a nurse or to be a hospice nurse. And I have such respect for those that do hospice, truly. But I know it's not mine to do. I don't have the heart for it. It would be very hard for me. So I know what's mine to do, but I also know what is not mine to do. So right now in your head, I just want you to think for a second. Think of one thing that you're still doing that is not yours to do. I hope I didn't start any divorces, but one thing. Do you all have something that's not yours to do anymore? One of the famous words of Bob Newhart, stop it. Seriously, you need to stop doing it. If it's not yours to do, don't do it. And if you think you can't not do it, then you have some beliefs in there that need to be dealt with. Because there's nothing that you have to do. There's just what you choose to do, even when you think you're having to do it. Okay? So, Johann Wolfgang von Goethe said this: things which matter most must never be at the mercy of things which matter least. This, when I read this in the last couple of days, I took such a sigh of relief, because there are times when I am focused on so many of the minutiae, the things that just are annoying, and I realize, why? Let it be. Just let it be. And if I'm taking my focus, you know, when you run centers, you run churches, you have a practitioner corps, you have a board of directors, 2 of each, and you have all of these people, and they all have different ideas and different agendas, you can get caught up, and people's feelings get hurt. Why didn't you ask me to do that? Lots of that goes on. You know what? It's just divine human nature, and I understand that. My job, though, is to say, do I need to get involved with all of it and fix all of it? And do I have to be the one that's at the center of all of this? Some people choose yes, to be at the center of it. But as Goethe says, he says, things which matter most, what matter most, must never be ever be at the mercy of things which matter least. What matters most to me? And that's a question to you. What matters most in your life? What matters most to me is what I'm doing right now. This is what matters most to me. And if I spend my days in the minutia of what may be going wrong or right, people's problems, and I get caught into it, this doesn't do as well as it could do. My mind needs to be focused on what matters most. And then I have amazing people around me. Elizabeth will fix any problem that needs to be fixed. Now she's like, I said to her the other day, I said, Elizabeth, going forward, if the building's going to burn down and it won't be able to be stopped, don't tell me till it's done. I said, but if it can be helped, call me. I said, and she says, what does that mean? I said, it means only involve me if you need me, because I have other things that I need to be doing. Now, how many of you can say that to yourself right now? Only involve me if you need me, because I know what's most important to me. And that's not selfish. That's actually you knowing your value and giving yourself permission to live from that value. When you know who you are, you have lots of value. So, go to the next von Goethe. The greatest thing in this world is not so much where we stand as in which direction we are moving. Right? I think people take too many stands, but you know what that means? They take a stand and they're stuck. And they're standing right there. I have stands. I have certain beliefs. I have certain opinions about things, but I am constantly moving through those beliefs, through those opinions. And I listen, and I hear what other opinions are, what other people think. I would never dream to say there is one answer or one opinion to any question. There are many. But as long as I stay moving, I'll hear them all. And one may totally surprise me that, oh, actually, that's a good one for me. But I must be willing to move. Next slide. So, in what direction are you moving? I'd like you to ask that to yourself right now. In what direction are you moving? Where is your life moving? Is it moving forward? Forward's not always the best way to move. Right? Backward's not always the best way to move. And in the quantum realm, you need to be moving in all directions at once. You know how you do that? You keep your mind open. You just keep your mind open. It may drag you back somewhere where you need to be, or it may take you over here, or an abrupt turn left. Just stay wide open. Don't take stands that keep you stuck. So the last thing I want to tell you today is a little activity I had this week called bowling. So if you would give me the next, yeah. David Letterman said this: one of the advantages bowling has over golf is that you seldom lose a bowling ball. Although I lost my bowling ball. That's why I thought this was so funny. I decided, we were supposed to have soul immersion this week, we thought, but then we realized it was the wrong week, it's next week. So we all decided, the soul immersion team, to go bowling. Well, I said, let's go bowling. And I have my own balls, and I have my own shoes, and I'm gonna bring them all from LA, and we'll all go bowling. So I brought my bowling balls, but I apparently have lost my straight bowling ball. I have a straight bowling ball and a gay bowling ball. The gay bowling ball curves. It like goes out and curves in. The straight bowling ball goes straight down the aisle. So I'm telling you this for a reason, to make sure you know which ball is which. So we start to play ball. Yeah, we start to play bowling, and we go bowling. So I stand there, and I know how to bowl. I'm a 200 bowler at least. I always have a 200 game at least. And then sometimes, once I got to 9 strikes, and it was so overwhelming, the stress, that the next one was a gutter ball. That's how I roll. So, yeah, and Kevin, and everybody stopped. They're all watching me, and it's like, stop looking at me! And I was like, okay, I got it. And I could feel and I just threw it. I went right to the gutter, and Kevin's like, James, oh my God, you're never gonna have this one again. And I haven't. Because I seem to have bought into his race consciousness. So we went on Friday night, and it was a wonderful time. And the first ball, gutter. Second ball, gutter. How many, Marcy? About 6? Yeah, I was on the 4th frame, and I had 0. I was like, this is not good. I'm the spiritual director. I call this mind over bowling. So where is my mind? And here's the thing, and here's what I wanted to this is what I wanted to teach today. So I finally realized that I was trying to throw my straight ball with my gay ball. This has many, many ways of looking at this. I was trying to use the tools I have in the wrong way. And all of a sudden, I picked up the ball and I went, oh, that's right, this is the curveball. If I step on the second dot, aim at the second arrow to the right, and just throw it there, I'm gonna be fine. I have great form. And so I threw it, and it didn't quite hit the arrow and went and got 3 pins. And I'm like, okay, what is wrong? And then I do it again, same thing. And all of a sudden, and the whole time I'm playing metaphysical bowling. I'm like, what is wrong with me? What is in my consciousness? This is what I'm equal to. An embarrassing game. William is bowling better than me. This is not working.
Yes, it is.
So I finally was like, so in mental understanding, what are you doing, James? You know what to do. You know what is yours to do. Throw the freaking ball with precision over the second arrow and let it do what it does. Stop making it go. And I just took a deep breath, And I went, okay, this is about surrender. And I threw the ball right over the second arrow. It looked like it was going to gutter, and it just came right in, strike. Right? Yeah. Everybody applauded. The sky opened. It was beautiful. Actually, nobody noticed. And I got it. Couldn't do it again for a number of times. Because after that, I was afraid to throw my ball that far to the right because it looked like it might have gone into the gutter. I kept pulling it. That's what we do with our thoughts. That's what we do with our beliefs. That's what we do with what's mine to do. This is mine to do. I'm going to do it sort of. I'll sort of do it. I'm afraid if I do it hard, what if I fail? What if I actually jump headstrong into what's mine to do and I fail? What will happen then? You know what will happen then? You'll fail. Pick up another ball. Start over again. So I finally figured it out, and I bowled a little better. Well, I did, because my first game, what did I have, Marcy, a 60? 61. I had a 61. I haven't had a 61 since I was in grade school. I called Kevin, and he was like, are you okay? I said, yeah, I just apparently forgot all about bowling. But it was a struggle. It was a mental struggle. It is by the way, we're going to create a Spiritual Center of the Desert Bowling League. Wouldn't that be fun? Everybody can bowl. Whether you bowl or not, I'll help you. So anyway, that's my novel. And the funny thing is, Elizabeth was on my team. I asked Elizabeth to be on my team because she said she didn't know how to bowl. And I said, I'll put you on my team. That way I give myself a handicap because I'm such a good bowler. So she was bowling the way I was bowling. And at one point I went, Elizabeth, stop thinking. Just take 3 steps and throw the ball. I said, no thinking. No thinking here. And she walked up and she was like, I think she wanted to sucker me. And she just went, like 8 pins. And she was like, oh my God. Yeah. And she's off in the office going, I'll kill him. And she's like so excited. And I went, see what happens when you don't think? And then I'm like, oh wait, we teach thinking. But we don't. We teach belief, and we teach surrender. Surrender to something in you that knows, something bigger that knows. Surrender to something in you that's not trying to get it right, it just is right. So what's mine to do? The universe knows what's mine to do. My job is to get out of the way. Next slide. So I was writing the next slide, and I made a mistake. And instead of saying what is mine to do, I wrote what is mind to do. And I was like, absolutely. What is mind to do? And you know what the answer is? Nothing. Nothing. When you are working on something, for clarity's sake, stop trying to figure it out. What is mind to do? Grab a giraffe and sit on a beach. Do nothing. Relax yourself. Give yourself something to focus on that is so mind-boggling that you can't be thinking of anything else. Like go to the beach and watch the porpoises jump up and down. Or go to the zoo and see animals you've never seen before. Do things that open you up so that you can surrender. So what is mind to do? What is mind to do? It's all relative, actually. So here's the answer. Clarity equals surrender. You want to be clear about your life? You want clarity on what is yours to do in this world? Surrender to something in you that already knows. And you know what else? You already know. We really do know. You know, we try to say, no, I'm not doing that anymore. And yet, you know inside of you, you're like, yeah, I'm going to do that again. Because it's really there. So, clarity equals surrender. So I want you to take a deep breath. And I asked you at the top of this, what is mine to do? What is mine to do? I just want you to ask yourself that for a second. Close your eyes. What is mine to do? And just give it a second and see if something pops up. And what I'm going to ask you to do, you can open your eyes now, throughout the week, is keep asking yourself that. And when something pops up, don't shoot it down. Trust what is yours to do. And I'm not talking about changing your life drastically. I'm talking about even for a day. What's mine to do today? You may hear something really interesting. Just recently, I woke up, I had a lot to do. I goes, okay, what's mine to do today? And what I really meant was, in what order will I do these mammoth things that I have to do? But I asked the question, what's mine to do today? And what I heard was go to the beach. I went into the kitchen. I said, I'm going to go to the beach today. And Kevin's like, what? We have so much to do. I said, yeah, I have to go to the beach today. And he was like, well, I said, you want to come with me? He's like, no. And so I went to the beach. And I talked to people on the way to the beach, and I sat at the beach. I felt fueled, refilled, and the interesting thing was that when I got back, I had the answer to a question I'd been trying to figure out in my musical. It just came to me, and I sat down and wrote it. That was what was mine to do today, by going to the beach. So I invite you all week long to surrender to the clarity that you already have. Find out what is yours to do. And don't question if it tells you something really bizarre like go buy a bowling ball and go bowling. Because if that's what yours to do, just go do it, whether you do it well or not. Namaste.